What is up, everybody, and welcome to the show. On today's show, I have a very good friend of mine. We actually used to work at Axioms together, and she's been a trainer for about 5 years now. She used to be a group instructor and a personal trainer. She does her own thing now called Brittfit. She has been modeling since she was 16. She's also a teacher at Vanguard, and there's a lot on her resume that we're going to go over today. Please welcome my guest, Brittnei Miller.
Well, hey guys.
So we're live with Brittnei Miller. Do you go still by Brittnei Miller?
Or that's a good question. No, it's technically on paper Brittney Scheffler, but I still go by like Professor Miller and things.
Professor.
Yeah. Well, sorry. In that role of my life, Professor Miller,
Okay.
Brittney Miller. I'm transitioning into the Scheffler, but
Okay.
it's
Brittnei Scheffler.
Brittney. Yeah, Scheffler.
Scheffler.
Chef,
Okay.
like chef in the kitchen.
Scheffler. Okay.
Chef in the kitchen.
So,
yeah.
what's your highest level of education then?
I have a master's in conservation biology. Hopefully getting that PhD soon.
Yeah, I know.
Once the money.
Congrats.
Oh,
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
I don't need
Oh,
And she
applause.
got married.
I did.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Everyone's
on
like,
that.
boo. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's good.
It is exciting. It was
it's
amazing.
Crazy.
How was it getting your master's?
Oh gosh, my master's was probably the best 2 years learning of my life. Like I just dove headfirst into something I was so passionate about, and it's not only the reason why I'm a personal trainer, because in the meantime, while getting my master's, I had to have a source of income, so I started training on the side with no intention of it becoming what it is in my life today.
Right.
And I'm super thankful it is what it is now. But so basically, my master's got me into personal training as well as allowed me to, become more educated, and then now a professor, and who knows.
That's so
What
cool.
else?
Where do you teach?
Vanguard.
I teach
right?
at Vanguard, yeah,
Okay.
Costa
Oh,
Mesa.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
school.
it's a good,
School.
yeah,
Dang.
I'm super blessed to start. Most professors have to have a PhD to even be teaching. So the
Oh,
fact
yeah.
that
How
I have
did
a
you-
master's,
How did you get in there?
it was just a blessing. Like honestly, I was in a tough situation as a trainer. I mean, I don't have to tell you, sometimes the financial end of it is not always easy, and I was literally kind of becoming a little bit desperate, and I don't say that a lot in my life, but I was, and I was just looking for that next step, and nothing really seemed to be like coming my way. And I met with the dean of science at Chapman, which is where I went for undergrad, and his name's Dr. Keller. So if you're listening, Dr. Keller, you're amazing. He's a boss. But anyway, he sat with me and he's like, Brittnei, have you ever considered being a teacher? You already teach in everything you do, from your
Right.
conservation work to your training, like to just your posts in general, whatever. And I was like, no, and the thought of it kind of like, I'll be honest, I was like, a teacher? No, no. And then I was like, you know what? I thought about it and it kind of creeped in on me, and I was like, maybe. And so I just searched for, environmental science professor, blah, blah, blah. And this whole time I thought to be a professor, you had to have a credential, like a teaching credential.
Right.
But that's only for K through 12th.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've looked in this too because I'm going back for my master's.
Oh,
and
good for
I
you.
eventually want to teach too.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah,
I
like,
give you guys props.
I
There's
thought
no way
it
could
was
teach.
too, though. I thought
could
you had
do
to have a teaching credential.
See, I did. And that's why I wrote it off until Dr. Keller told me. And he's like,
Exactly.
the minimum you have to have is your master's. Some schools take that, some don't. Most take PhD, but you could probably find one. And so I literally went home and I was like, oh, and I Googled, and then Vanguard, sure enough, had a posting looking for an environmental science teacher. And I was like, are you serious? So I applied. I didn't really think much. I don't like to get my hopes up too quick. And then I think about a month later, out of the blue, I was in my car one day and I checked my emails before going into work. And it was an email from Vanguard. And they're like, we love your resume, blah, blah, blah. Would you come in for an interview? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes. And then started as an adjunct in the fall. And then Alex helped me through that, gave me a ton of advice during that time. Remember, I was kind of like losing my mind. And then, now I'm full time there. Signed my contract the other
Dang,
week. So I'm
congratulations.
super thankful. Thank you. Yeah, it's
How
cool.
does it feel?
It feels really great. It feels a little, sometimes I still feel like I'm a kid, and so to be teaching, students who are not too far off of my age is a little strange, but, I'm also super passionate about what I teach, and I invest a lot into what I teach. And so when I get up there, I'll be scared. Like my first lecture, I was sweating. I was like, there's no way.
Nervous?
So I was like, oh my God, 40 students, sorry, not kids. And I'm standing up here for an hour and 15 minutes. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
And then I ran out of time. Like I did. Anyway, so needless to say, like it's been going well. always keeps you on your toes. I have so much more respect for teachers and professors. It is not an easy job.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not, for so many reasons, especially right now with this COVID stuff. But overall, it feels really great, and it's good. It's all
It's
good.
crazy because not long ago you were one of those kids.
I know. That's
in
the
those
weirdest part.
chairs, and now you're like, wait, the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Now I'm teaching you guys. Like,
Yep.
good luck. We'll see how this goes.
But it's funny because no, totally. But it's funny because I can like pick up on. Or I'm like, you guys, I was not you long ago. Like, I know when you're putting 100% in and when you're flaking. Like, I
Oh,
can
yeah.
see the
Yeah.
difference. You know, but it's actually, I think, in a way, a benefit because I can really relate to my students and we create really solid relationships. And I think that helps with the learning as well when teachers invest in their students. I know it did for me at Chapman. That was the biggest thing I loved about Chapman was the teacher-student relationship. So I try to just keep that going in my classes too.
Not only that, you have the responsibility of teaching 40 plus kids, them emailing you back and forth, texting
That's
you.
the hardest part of
like,
the job.
Like you have
Yeah.
so much work. It's not like you teach and then you go home. Like you have to grade
No.
papers.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to stay
It's
up
a
late.
never-ending job.
You
It
wake
like
up early.
It's
You got to get
never-ending.
prepared for next semester. You got to have like a year regimen of what you're gonna do.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
See,
fucking
you sound like
crazy.
you know what you're doing
And I
already.
I have no idea.
I still communicate with 3 of my professors from San Diego State.
See,
I
that's
still talk to them like
amazing.
on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Or I email them and just
Well, and they love that, so you
oh,
know.
oh yeah.
Because I love it. Like, I love when my students email me or they wrote me letters at the end of last semester and I have them, like, on my wall. Because, like, on the days when I'm like, I don't know if I could do this anymore, like, I
Right.
read those and they help me. But, yeah, no, students and teachers, I think it's such a cool relationship. But you definitely could work yourself to the bone. Like,
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to have your boundaries and you have to, like, I'll tell my students, like, give me at least, 24 hours to respond to an email. Because I'm juggling, other things in my life. Not that I don't love you guys, but, we got to
Mhm.
all just kind of have grace for each other in the situation. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You ever write letter of recommendations for anybody?
I do. Actually, I
Wow,
just
look
wrote
at
one the other
you.
day.
Big shot.
Oh, God, I don't know about no way. I was actually really excited. It's for a really good friend of mine. I don't know if I'm supposed to say her name or not.
You don't
but
have to.
yeah, I probably won't. But anyway, I trained her for a long time. She was one of my
Okay.
clients. She's amazing. And she was applying to Chapman Law School. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I wrote
Dang.
her, she wrote an amazing, essay. And I was like touched by it. And so I did the best I could about writing a letter of rec. But I think it was good because I went to Chapman. So maybe that says something, So,
That always helps. Like
yeah.
always a person in,
exactly.
like on the inside.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get the experience part of it.
Exactly.
Like what they're gonna go through, kinda. Especially if that's not your subject, you kind of know the ins and outs
Yeah.
of that school.
Yeah.
So you can kind of relate to the student.
Definitely.
That's good.
Yeah. It was exciting.
Your hands are dipped in so much stuff. Like
Yeah.
you have Vanguard, then you have the Cheetah Outreach.
Yep.
You have Brittfit.
Yeah.
Like
A
how
lot
do you
of stuff.
juggle all that?
You have to like it, I guess. There are some, I grew up thinking, and I remember when I got out of Chapman, like I got a desk job for a year, and my parents kind of were like, "This is what you do, like welcome to life," and I was like, "Oh gosh," like I was like, "There's no way this is life right now," like. And so I did it for about a year, and I was a sustainability project coordinator at a company in Irvine. And it was a great learning experience and allowed me to save for grad school. But I also knew, like, I can't do just one thing my whole life. Like, that's just not how God created me. And
Mhm.
I have so many passions. And so, yeah, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. And there are days when especially as I've gotten older, I've noticed, like, I want to become more a master of one thing versus a jack of all trades, which don't get me wrong, like I love doing all things, but I also what I've learned is that I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but if you excel at a lot of things, you can become distracted from the one thing you want to excel in.
Yep.
If that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yep.
It makes complete
Yep.
sense.
You get
Complete
that?
sense,
Yeah.
So you have to really hone in on and think, okay, like, yeah, I could be good at this. I could do that. I could do this. I could do this every day of the week. But what do I really want to do? And you got to set boundaries. Otherwise, the things that you're good at will slowly take over. And that kind of sounds weird. But
No, you sound
if that makes sense,
that's a
you know
perfect
what I mean?
explanation.
No, that makes
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So I think, but right now, like I'm a people person too. So all my roles involve people or animals, which are my favorite things. So it's
Mhm.
hard to like step out of one and into, like I just love everybody. And so it's hard to like be like, bye,
Well,
I'm coming, I don't know.
I'm kind of the same way. So I worked at a marketing firm in Irvine and I fucking hated it. So I took 8 months off training. I quit training for 8 months. And then I worked at a marketing firm in Irvine. And I worked at one firm for 3 months. I worked at another firm for 3 months. And then I worked at another firm for 3 months. I couldn't sustain a job.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And I would
crazy.
take like 20 restroom breaks because I have like
I'm the
serious
same as you.
ADD.
I go
So
on
I'm like,
walks every
yeah,
10 minutes.
I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this building. So I would walk around and then we'd have like every Wednesday we would have like a taco guy or like some sort of
Yeah.
food truck. And I would be talking to them outside. I'd be like, okay, I got to go back to work. I'll see you guys like in 20 minutes for my lunch break. And it's like, that's how I was. Like, I couldn't do it. So that's why I came back to training. Like, I need that interpersonal connection with somebody, or I need to talk to people. Like, this is my lifestyle. This is what I like to do.
Yeah.
Because I get what you're trying to say, like, hey, welcome to the real world. But like, that's how my grandparents told me too. They're like, hey, you got to work this. It's a safe job. But I'm like, I don't know if
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories, especially in college, where like you can work a job that pays great money, but you're still not happy with great money.
right.
You need to be happy with your everyday. And they're like,
Yeah.
they're like a lot of professors would always be like, I'd rather take a pay cut every day and be happy living day to day
Right.
than
Yeah.
hate my
You're
life
miserable
making
for a week.
fortune.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, I'd rather eat shit in the beginning and do something I love, make a little sacrifice. And then if you're good at something and passionate about something, yeah, it's going to take like 5 or 6 years. But at the same time, you're going to grow. And usually people with a passion and doing something that they like, they're really successful at, and that's with me with training. Like, it took me a long time to find my craft and to build it into what it is today. And now I'm doing fine, especially with COVID. It's like you have to find something that suits you, because I train a lot of CEOs who, like, I train a lot of people who are very high, like the 1%ers. And one guy, he comes in, he's always tired. He hates his life. He doesn't want to go to work. He's literally chained to his company. And it's like, I'd rather not make as much, but still live a simple life and go through the day-to-day thing, and then just be successful a little later in life.
Yeah.
And, just
like define your own success. Like
Yeah.
just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
successful.
No, that's a
you
very
know?
true statement.
Yeah.
Like
So,
a lot of people base
yeah.
success upon money, which
Right.
actually
Yeah.
isn't.
No, you could
True.
you're successful right now.
Yeah,
like,
you're
don't say
successful.
you have to wait till later. Like, you are killing it right now. And I get what you mean about, okay, maybe having a little more stable income later, or
Right.
whatever that is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you are successful right now. You already are. If you want to have more income later, that's cool too. But
No,
don't,
that's true.
you are
Yeah.
successful.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
know.
don't write it off.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're one of the best trainers that I know, like, seriously, and one of the most motivated people that I know.
I
And-
try. It's funny because I actually dropped out of school. I dropped out after 2 years because I didn't want to do it. But all my learning comes from the coaches I follow online, going to seminars, just learning, staying quiet, seeing what people do, seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then making that my own craft. Like,
Learning doesn't happen in the classroom, though.
no, it doesn't.
I mean,
It's true.
in
You
all
can't
reality,
yeah.
like, you go to a classroom to present what you've learned.
Right.
In reality, if you go in, like, when I went to school, I had the best mixes in my class. It's not because I mixed in the classroom. It's because I went home and mixed.
Yeah.
And I went home and watched
You
videos.
get out what you put in.
And then, like,
Yeah.
even to this day,
100%.
I'm still watching 5 or 6 hours of mixing videos every single week of different people, of different genres and different styles, talking about different ideas. And they're like, oh, here's how I solved this problem. And so it's
Yeah.
like, your learning doesn't end just because
Yeah.
you're not in school.
right.
And a lot of
Sure.
people base like education based upon, oh, did you go to school or not? Did you have the diploma hanging on the wall? That doesn't matter.
Yep.
Right,
Like, I know a lot
right.
of people that have been to school that have a bachelor's, but I
Aren't
know
doing
people
shit
that
with it, and
aren't
they
doing
don't know
anything with
shit.
it and didn't really learn anything. They just went there and partied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and they
That's true.
barely got by, barely made the grades. Like this lady, I was training someone in Yorba Linda. It's an in-home person, and this lady, she was watching me in her car, and like it was weird. So I was like, whatever. I was training. I was done with training, and I go out. I walk to my car, and she's like, "Hey," she's like, "Are you a coach?" I was like, "Yeah." I forgot her name, and she's like, she's like, can I get your number? I was like, oh, you're thinking about training? She's like, yeah. She's like, I just did physical therapy. And I was like, oh, you're a therapist? She's like, yeah, I have my doctorate.
Huh.
I was like, no way. She's like, yeah, I do in-home therapy appointments. I just go home just to check up on my patients and stuff like that. She's like, I need a trainer.
Mm.
She's like, you know exactly what you're doing. Like, it seems like you have your master's. I was like, it's funny, I'm actually a dropout. She's like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm actually a dropout. She's like, how do you learn all that stuff? I was like, honestly, I learned on my own. I learned by videos. I learned.
And you got certified too, right?
Well,
so
duh.
I was going to say, I don't want to show anyone up on the air right now, but like,
No,
your
like-
trainer's not certified. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
Everybody, yeah, you have to be certified. But
Right.
even the certification.
You do learn a bit through that at least.
Yeah.
More
but
than most people.
you do learn from the certification itself. It sucks. Yeah, you do have to like renew it because some stuff changes. It's
Don't
a
get
good
me started on the renewal crap.
it changes from a couple of years.
Yeah.
But all the learning comes from you
Experience.
wanting to learn and
it's true.
doing it through the experience of like
100%.
doing the job actually.
100%.
That's where most of it comes from. Like for a person with their doctorate degree to give me credit and be like, hey, like I really like your style. It's like, whoa, holy shit, I'm doing something like right, I
See,
guess,
you're successful.
So, I mean, it's cool to see that.
You deserve it.
I mean, I guess, right?
No, you do.
So, tell me about the Cheetah Outreach.
Yeah. So where do I start? So when I was in grad school, I'll make the story short. The cool thing, and a little bit about what we just talked about with teaching, the cool thing about getting your master's is you get to devote 100% of your time to a topic and a subject that you're like super interested in. Grad school or undergrad is cool because you get to learn a variety of things, which is great. And it allows you that opportunity to learn what you're passionate about. But my master's, it was like super cool because you get to dive into just courses focused on, that subject of your choice.
Yep.
So anyway, one of my projects that I had to do in grad school was a 60 source. And if my students are listening, they're going to crack up because I make them do not 60 sources. They only have to do 5. But it's called an annotated bibliography. And so basically that's all it is say I gave you a research paper and I said, Alex, I need you to read this and then I need you to annotate it. And these are the 4 points I want you to cover in your summary of what this paper said. Okay, so Alex, what was it about? What were the key research methods they used? What did they find? And what did you like or not like about it?
Okay.
And then so you would read that paper and then you would write, however many sentences or whatever that takes to get that information regurgitated back to me that I asked for. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway,
Yeah.
So I say that because when I was in grad school, they had us I had to read 60 different research articles on a topic of my choice in conservation, which was super cool. It's at first I was like, are you kidding? 60 sources. But I learned more through that project than I did in anything in my life. So I focused on the human-wildlife conflict, which is what it sounds like. It's the relationship between humans and wildlife, whether locally, globally, internationally, whatever that is. I focused on like large carnivores, so specifically wild cats and wolves, things of that kind. And
that's
so
dope.
Yeah. So anyway, I learned like a ton and I was like, oh my God. And still to this day, that is where I want to, as we talked about earlier, like always keep my focus is like in that direction, even though I have a lot of other things I like to do. So anyway, I was in grad school, did that 60 source annotated bibliography, became like obsessed with the ideas and the topics that I learned and knew that I wanted to do whatever I could to help communities coexist and live better with wildlife. And so I was doing some research and I had just started at Axioms, I think, as a trainer there. And did some research and found this amazing organization called the Cheetah Outreach. And as we talked about Steve Irwin earlier, he actually did a lot of work with the Cheetah Outreach. And the Irwin family and the Steve Irwin Zoo, they still collaborate with the Cheetah Outreach on a lot of things. I think they were there last summer, actually.
Where's it located?
It's in South Africa. So anyway, I was like, oh man, and I emailed them and I by that time, funny story too. So how you take advantage of opportunity always. So I had dislocated my knee at that point when I was had just kind of not long finished grad school. And so I was training too and dislocated my knee. I mean, you can imagine, like you can't do anything.
How'd you do that?
That's a story for later. Okay, we could go into that too. But get me back on track. No, it sounds really bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds. I was dancing at a pool party in Vegas. and my knee dislocated. And I swear, I wasn't drunk. I was with my family. We were there for my brother's hockey tournament, and
Oh
I
my
was wearing
gosh.
wedges. And I think that's what happened. I mean, I remember I planted my feet and I went to do like, I don't know, something stupid like I always do. And I turned and my upper body turned, but my lower didn't. And I remember looking down
Shit.
and my knee was over here, like to the right side of my leg, but my leg was not. And I was like, and I immediately like fainted, fell back on a chair. My dad, Justin, he must have seen it happening because he went over and like grabbed me so I didn't fall off this chair. My knee whacked back in. And then that's how I dislocated my knee. So I had to go to a hospital in Vegas. They wheeled me out of the Venetian in a bathing suit. It was great. I just remember I put my sunglasses on and I was like, oh,
Brittnei
my
parties
God.
hard,
Yeah.
everyone. She
So
parties
there's
hard.
another, passion of mine. No. So anyway, back to the gist of it. So I had dislocated my knee and I was obsessed with this idea that I gathered in grad school. And I was like, I'm going to start my own project. It's going to be called the Why Should You Care Project. And this project is basically all about what I discovered when I was reading these papers, these 60 sources. At the end of them, every researcher would say, we got all this information and it's great, but the real problem is we don't know how to get the public to care. And if we're doing all this and nobody cares about it, why are we doing it? And I was like, I can't agree with that more. You guys are pouring your heart and souls into this, and the general public does not know about any of these issues or even how to fix them if they did. And so I became super passionate about getting that relationship built between communities with education and wildlife, just trying to kind of solve that. So anyway, created this small project, submitted a proposal to the Cheetah Outreach and said, hey, can I come? Like, I want to do this research for your organization to try to help you guys better accomplish your conservation goals and your education with the public. Because the public comes into the Cheetah Outreach and sees all their ambassador animals and such. And they were like, yeah, sure. Like we can't fund you to come do it, but you can do it. And so then I was like even more determined. I was like, okay, so I fundraised, I think like $6,000 to get myself and Jake to Africa. And we were there for almost a month. And the only way though that could have happened was through training. Like my clients and my network that I had built through just out like training and community. I mean, they are the reason I got to Africa. And like, I am so forever grateful for those friends and they're like family now. You guys know who you are if you're listening. But they are the reason I got to Africa. And so it's really cool to see how like God used that. Like, yeah, training is not conservation, but I'm going to use it as a resource for you to get to where I want you to go in this field right now. And so it was super cool. And so we were there for like a month and we did this research with them. We were hanging out there every day. We went in, I think, June or July. So it was actually their winter-ish, their colder months. The seasons are reversed there. So it wasn't like hot, Africa like you think when you think. But it was amazing. And so now since then, we collaborate on fundraising. Like I just did at the beginning of COVID, they reached out to me and said, we're not getting tourism right now, which is really hurting our funds, what we can do for the animals, feeding them and everything. And I was like, well, let me do what I can. Like I'll do a boot camp, a virtual one. So we did like a virtual Brittfit boot camp, Sweat to Protect. We raised money for them. And then it was cool because Jackson, one of the head directors over there, he took over my Instagram like story for the day.
Saw
Did
that.
you see that?
That was pretty cool.
So he like just kind of like, told about the Cheetah Outreach and the cheetahs.
Cool.
And
it
was
really
cool.
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there'll be plenty of more of that to come. I want to get back to Africa as soon as I can. Like I would get on a plane right now if I could, but COVID and funds aren't exactly allowing that. But Africa has my heart. Like my goal when I became a teacher was during the summers or the time off, like I want to spend at least a couple weeks either going to Africa or another country where I can help do this
With
research.
animals.
Exactly.
Are you strictly doing cheetahs or are you just doing big cats?
No, my deepest passion and my probably greatest knowledge is with big cats and larger carnivores in general. However, I don't discriminate. Like I love, like I would go.
She's an equal opportunist.
Exactly. In grad school, I went to Tobago for 2 weeks and we had to do like coral research and different things. And one of the coolest things I've ever seen was a leatherback turtle give birth, like lay eggs in the sand, like on the beach there. And it was it's very protected. So you have to do it a certain like way. But No, I mean, I'll go anywhere. Like Australia, I'd love to go back as well and do something there. But I have a problem with thinking too much. I tend to get in my own way sometimes.
I
Like,
mean,
yeah. So so I have to just kind of take a step back, and sometimes I feel like I'm not ever making as much of a difference as I should be. And
No.
so I get in my own way and stop any difference from happening.
No,
you know?
you are, because not a lot like people do have ideas like yours, but they don't act on it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like with this, like everyone starts out with an idea, which is good, but you got to take that to the next level as
Yeah,
far as
follow
doing.
through.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
follow through and think about what you're gonna do and how you're gonna get there. Like your idea was great. You raised money and people helped you. Your friends and family helped
Right.
you to get to Africa to make sure you wanted to do what you did over there and do it for a good cause. And now you can say, hey, like I went here and I helped them out in every step, in every way I can, So it's like you did do a good thing. And a lot of it is you did more than others would have done, because you
I
actually
appreciate that.
acted on it. Not
Yeah.
a lot of people act on their ideas or anything because they're too scared.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what if this? What if that? It's like, no, if you have an idea about something, don't be scared. Like, who gives a
Right.
fuck? Like, just
Right.
act
Start.
on it.
Yeah.
Because if you get in your own mind and you keep second guessing yourself, you'll take a step back.
It's true.
It's kind of like when we went skydiving.
Did he go with you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Wait,
let's
you
go.
guys, let's talk about that.
So,
I
like,
wanna
with
hear about that.
skydiving, I've always wanted to
I
go,
want to
but
do it too.
I've
but I'm
never had
scared.
the opportunity to. So this guy, I get a text out of nowhere. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, you want to go skydiving?
I love it.
Yeah, I was just
And
like,
my first words were, I'll do it. Fuck it, let's go. And so,
Of course they were.
and this guy was like, he's like, okay. And he calls me. He's like, dude, I'm so nervous. I was like, Roscoe, don't tell me this right now because we're like
We're
3
doing
days
it.
out.
It,
Like,
like,
we're gonna
okay.
do it.
I first got the invite, and like the first day, I didn't even think anything of it. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go.
And then it gets closer,
And
you're
then
like,
like,
wait.
and then it was like the very next day it hit me, and I was like, I'm jumping 14,000 feet. Oh, wait a minute. I could.
no big deal. You could.
This is like a life.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
chances are really, really slim, but like it's not
There's an
zero.
increased chance. Yeah.
You can still die, but
You're taking a risk.
you're taking a risk. It was so much fun. But like, I remember when I went there, like, I don't know how you felt right before you jumped. I didn't even get a chance to get nervous.
That's what I've heard
They-
from people do it. You
It's-
just like
it's-
jump out.
Well,
like,
no, it's weird. So me, I have a really big fear of heights, actually, which is funny.
wow.
So I have a really big fear of heights, but I'll do shit. Like I'll go on roller coasters, I'll go on Supreme Scream, all the rides on at Six Flags I've went on, like all the crazy shit I've done, but I'm still scared of heights. So when he's like, hey, you want to go skydiving? I was like, okay, let's do it. So we got there and I wasn't nervous until the plane took off. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm actually doing this. And it's not till you get to the very top. So your mind plays a trick on you. It's hard to explain, but once you get to the very top, you don't think about diving out of a plane. It's so beautiful and so
Oh, yeah.
calm and
Interesting.
peaceful that it doesn't look real.
Oh yeah, it doesn't.
It's
and
like,
it also
have
feels
you
really
ever-
cold as well. Like,
Yeah,
Really?
I really like that because like it was hot when we went. It was like 100 degrees.
Wow.
We went in Elsinore, and it was so nice jumping out. I was like, oh, it was actually really comfortable temperature up here.
You
Yeah,
ever-
it's a lot colder up there.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like,
Less air density.
yeah. Well, it's like you ever look at a painting of like the land, like the landscape of like a
Yeah.
land from up top. It's kind of like that. Like that's
It's
how
beautiful.
yeah. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
it's
It was.
absolutely
I looked
beautiful.
down. I was like, wow, this is so pretty. And when we jumped out, the guy's like, you ready? He's like 3. I was like, don't count me down. We're just gonna go. He's like, really? I was like, fuck it, let's go. And so we went down, and I freaked out at first because I didn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
So then I got my grip and my body got used to it. So I was like, okay, we're doing this. And when you're up in the air and you're falling, it's not like, I didn't think like, oh, my parachute might not release. I was just like, wow, this is really pretty. Like it was just probably the best
Oh, yeah.
experience of my lifetime. Like you don't think about
Wow.
It
that.
was so cool. Like I
Yeah.
remember like when we leveled out, I got sick. I got altitude sickness. Like
Oh no.
I got that dizzy
Yeah,
feeling, and I was
that's
like,
right.
oh wait, there's not enough oxygen up here. That's why I feel this way. But then we went to go jump.
You're like, I gotta jump either way.
But then when we went to go jump, I was like, okay, cool. This feels really cool. And I remember like you can see in the video of me jumping, I braced for hitting the ground immediately.
Oh my God.
When you jump out of the plane. Well, it's kind of a natural
Have
thing
you
to
jumped
do.
off? Have you done like cliff jumping or something like that?
I have rock climbed, but
You never like jumped off something really high.
No.
Well, if you
I have
like,
bungee jumps.
That's cool. I'd like to do that.
But like when you go to jump, you like
It's a natural like.
it's a natural
yeah.
like you brace yourself for like impact. And I braced it, and then you see the video of me like clenching up, getting ready to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then after a second, I realized I'm like, oh wait, we're falling.
No, it's probably one of the best experiences
so
of my
cool.
life. I'd probably go again, honestly.
I do it again.
Really?
I'd love to do it by myself.
Really?
I'd love to jump by myself.
No way.
Well, I gave you that.
What if you
idea.
black out and like no one's
Well,
there to
the
pull
thing
the
is,
string?
okay, so when you jump out by yourself, there's 2 instructors on the side of you.
Okay, I saw
And
you reaching for someone's foot at one point. Was that him?
Oh no! So
Nope.
I had a camera guy. 2 guys jumped with me. One was so I went tandem. One guy's tied to your back, and he's the one who pulls the chutes. And then the other guy's a camera guy. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna put my foot out. I'm gonna grab your hand so I can spin you around,
Oh, gotcha.
so I can get different angles. He's like, so when I put out my shoe,
grab my foot.
grab my foot, and I'll spin you. So I was like, okay, cool.
Oh my god, I'd throw up.
And so he grabbed out his foot. He's like, grab it. So I was like, okay,
Grab
cool.
it.
So I grabbed his foot and he like spun me, and then he grabbed my hand to try to spin me. And like, it was pretty cool how he did everything. But he dives down first. Because we released the chute.
Right.
He doesn't release his until he's closer to the
Oh
ground.
my god.
Because he has to get the camera angle of us landing.
Gotcha.
But when he released the chute, I was like, thank fucking God.
Yeah, like
I'm
everything
gonna-
worked.
Yeah,
Good. It's
yeah,
just smooth sailing.
but then I looked up. I was like, "What if a bird just goes through this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what was going through my
That's
mind. I was like,
funny.
or what if like
Right.
some holes pop?
No,
Like,
I'm
Mine
gonna
wasn't
think about
that.
that.
Mine
Fuck.
was like, what happens if like the restraints, because they're using like clips. I was
They
like, what
just
happens if they
unclip.
break? I was like, what happens if they break and I fall? Like, he's attached to the chute. I'm not
Yeah,
attached to the
that's true.
chute. I'm attached to this guy.
well, Roscoe was like, "Hey, dude, we might die." I was like, "Honestly, man, I'm at this point in my life. I'm
You're
like,
like, I beat COVID.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, if I die, I beat COVID.
Just
Fuck
don't
it.
say it was
Yeah,
COVID.
Jesus Christ, because that you
Oh,
can't.
man.
A lot of people have control issues, so it was really cool
Yeah,
because
you cannot.
you have
that.
to kind of let go.
Yeah.
So
I could
when
use that.
we were up there, I put everything in perspective. I was like, okay, if something were to happen with the plane, you can't control it. So you gotta kind of go with the flow. Like there's nothing you can do. So your only choice is to let go. Same when we jumped out. If a parachute doesn't go out, there's nothing you can do. Like that's at your own risk. So I basically rationalized everything and put everything
Yeah.
in perspective.
All you can do is respond in that
Yep.
moment.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
No matter how much you prepare for
Right.
it, like,
Right.
you
Yeah,
have to be in the moment to
so
respond to it.
that's
so.
what I did. And I'm like,
That's
if something
crazy.
happens, I just gotta go with it. You know, like I'm taking a risk. I gotta do it. We'll see what happens. You know, fuck it.
I'd still do it again. It was so awesome.
But yeah,
I may have to do it.
you should. You and Jake.
I
Jake, if you're
think-
listening, you need to go. You need to take your
I
wife.
don't know if he would do it. I don't know. We've talked about it.
Do
We're
it.
both very
Just do
similar.
it.
We're like, one day we're like, yeah, and then the other day we're like, no. Like, I
When
don't
you
know.
get older, what people were telling me, you get more cautious. You get like
Really?
yeah. So like, cause like you were telling yourself, you second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Especially the older you get, and when you have kids, not a lot of people do it because they think more. They're like, something happens, like my kids.
yeah,
so,
you got more to lose.
yeah.
kind of
So
type
that's
thing.
why you got to do it
Yeah.
now when you're young and you're okay with it. So if you and Jake do it together, you guys will be fine.
Right. As long as someone's there to take care of my cat, if anything happens,
Oh,
we're
there
good.
you go. Roskin can have it.
My baby Jasper. Shout out to Jasper.
No, but it was a good experience. Yeah, I would love to do it again.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's
I know when I saw your guys' post, I was like, wait a minute. What? I
Yeah.
was like, he did not.
Yep. Fuck
So
yeah.
gnarly.
Yep.
So gnarly.
And then we got there, we got prepared. They linked us in. When you go skydiving, you fill out a paper and they videotape you. And the paper says, I, Alexander
if I die,
Garcia.
like, it's not on you
Yeah,
guys.
basically, I, Alexander Garcia, sign the right of if anything happens, I will not sue. I will not take legal action to sue the company. Basically, something like that. And then the thing basically states, hey, your parachute might not deploy. You might fall off.
Tells you everything that could.
Yeah, your plane.
Yeah.
Something might happen with
Something
your
might
plane.
happen to your plane while you're going up.
Yeah, like it's
You may hurt
every.
yourself when you land.
Yeah,
like,
it's
That's true.
like
that probably happens more than
I
anything.
read the whole form because like I was like, I want to make sure I'm reading
Might
it. Like,
choke on the air.
basically, like it says that you personally inspected the airplane, you personally inspected the parachute, you personally did everything, and you were signing away all rights that
I
you
wouldn't
did
even
this.
know how
And
to
I
do
was
that.
like, I don't even know how to
Yeah.
inspect that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's for their liability because
It's
like
crazy.
Yeah. Well, they got to protect their asses too.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, so just in case something happens, they don't get sued.
Right.
But yeah, you guys definitely got to try it. It was probably the
Do it.
best experience of my life.
Man.
I would definitely do it again. But yeah, so
Maybe
it's,
we'll get a group together and go.
I'm
Do it.
down.
Yeah,
I
I'm down
definitely
again.
would do it again.
Yeah.
Now that I've experienced it. I mean, shit does happen, but you like,
That's the truth.
well, it's like
Yeah.
you gotta. It's a calculated risk.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's true.
You know, so it's like, just take it for what it is,
Yeah.
enjoy it, and shit happens. But what, like 90% of the time, 95%
No,
of
it's
the
gotta
time.
be higher than
I was
that.
gonna say let's
Like-
let's not look it up.
I looked
The
it up. I
statistics of your
actually-
parachute deploying.
I actually looked it up. You're
Did
like,
you?
I think you're more likely to get into a car accident and die than
Really?
you are to like have
For your shoots to not
That's
deploy.
good to know.
Yeah,
Oh, there you
That's
go.
a
it's
little
kind of
more
like it's
comforting.
kind of like an
Yeah.
airplane.
That's
Like
comforting.
it's like an airplane. Like you're more likely to get in a car accident than die in a
Get in a
crash.
car.
Airplane.
Yeah.
So it's like
Interesting.
by that rate, you're like, okay, then it's so small of a fraction. I shouldn't be really concerned.
Right.
But
Well-
but I did tell you, like, it did hit me because I started looking it up as soon as like it hit me. I was like, oh shoot, like we could die from this.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, we might die. I was like, Roscoe.
But I was
don't
like,
tell me this right now.
So I looked it up, and I was like, oh, you're pretty safe. They have a backup shoot for this reason, and
Oh my
Look at us
God.
now.
Yeah,
You're
look at us
here.
now.
Yeah,
We're
see?
talking.
Yeah, see,
Everything's good.
Another podcast.
We made
We're
it.
good. We're good.
What number is this for you guys?
This is 6.
this is number 6.
Oh my
Yep.
God, that's my favorite number.
Really?
Yeah, that worked out.
Whoa.
I can't believe we're already doing this. I remember when you texted me, what, like 2 months ago? 3 months? How long? And you're like, yeah, let's get you
Yeah.
on the books. And I
About
was
2
like,
months ago. Yeah.
July 24th, I'll never be here or whatever today
Yeah,
is.
now it's here.
It's nuts. What is today? The 25th?
The 25th.
Okay. Thank
Yeah. During this COVID thing, it just gave me. I mean, I was focusing on training and then kind of focused 100% on this again, you know, and just wanted to get it started and get the ball rolling.
you. Well, I love it. I'm stoked. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
to have you on.
Yeah,
You know?
thanks
It's
for
been
having me.
a while since last time we talked. It was right before I left to
Yeah, San
North.
Francisco.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
And I
that
saw you
was-
briefly for that little school workout thing we did for
Yeah.
Canyon.
for
but we didn't really
with
talk.
VD.
Yeah.
And
mhm.
then that was basically it. You
Yeah.
know, so it's crazy like to have
It's
you on.
weird
and
that
catch up.
you're like, I'm like, oh, he's back. Like when
Yeah,
I found
it's-
out you're come back, I was like, oh man.
It feels like a dream.
Yeah.
To be honest, when I left and now I'm back, I'm like, wait, what?
Did I
like,
go?
Yeah,
What did
like
happen?
am I
Yeah.
home? You
Yeah.
know, so it's funny, but I'm glad to be back. I'm
Good.
glad to be with, you know, with my best friend Roscoe and all my other friends and everybody else. Like seeing you
Yeah.
and seeing my family and stuff like that. Out there, I didn't really. I mean, I had somebody, but it's different when
Yeah.
you're by yourself and you don't have any friends. You kind of go
Get in your
crazy.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets in your
Yeah.
head, and it got in my head. So with me, I got depressed, and
Mm.
so that's why I got a dog.
Wait, I didn't know you got a dog.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
name was Mocha.
Wait, was?
Yeah.
What happened to Mocha?
Uh,
Uh-oh.
long story. So I couldn't take Mocha home, so Mocha had to stay.
Oh, so she has him still?
No.
Oh.
Here's a picture.
Yeah.
Wait, where did Mocha go? Alex.
That's a shitty picture.
She's so cute.
It's a guy.
Or he.
Yeah.
He looks like so.
He's
Looks
so
like a
cute. He's
Muppet.
a cutie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what happened was he stayed up north, and I guess Mocha didn't get along well with the roommate's dog, so Mocha had to go somewhere else to Sacramento. And so when I left,
We should put
Aw.
Mocha to Sacramento.
I guess I don't know. I don't want to get into it because I'll be
Okay.
upset.
I'm
He was
sorry.
like my son.
let's skip it.
No, yeah. Well, he was like
Aw.
my son, and that's the only person or
Yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you know. I
you know,
get it.
it's
yeah.
like I used to have a dog when I was a kid, and then we got Mocha, and I forgot what it was like, and I was like, wow, this is like my son. It's like my family member. Take him on walks, feed him, make sure he's good. He would sleep with us sometimes. I took really good care of him. So when I left, I bawled.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't cry really. I'm not a crier, but when I left, that one point in my life, I literally just bawled and I hugged
Aw.
Mocha. And so Mocha hugs. He's a hugging dog. So like
Aw,
every time
he
I
sits
come,
up,
yeah, so he sits up, and not a lot of dogs do this, but they purr kind of. I don't know if like any of you guys experience this, like, but
I've
they
never had
like
a dog purr.
it's no, it's not
It's like
purring.
a little huff.
Yeah,
kinda
it's
thing?
no.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I don't know how to explain it. They like,
She's got a little motor going.
yeah,
Aw.
he has like a little motor going,
Aw.
and it just means he's really happy because
Yeah,
his tail's
he's
wagging.
content. Yeah.
So when I left, I gave him a hug, and he kind of knew dogs are smart. He
Yeah.
kind of knew something was up, so he hugged me, and then I went to pull back, and he was still like on my
Stop.
shoulder.
Okay. Cue
Aw.
the sad music.
So
Jeez.
that was really hard to do. But when I came back and I'm like, okay, I'm back with family now. I'm back with the people I love. Like it's
Yeah.
being up there taught me a really huge lesson. And in the beginning, everything that you would think that went wrong with me moving up there went wrong. Like car got broken into. I got into hit and runs.
Jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I got in fights with homeless people on the street.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
like everything you can think of.
Was saying, Alex, go back.
Yeah, basically. And so a lot of people think of things like, oh, my life sucks, whatever. And I thought about that in the beginning, and that's why I got so depressed. But then towards the end, I'm like, maybe this is teaching me a lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go back. I experienced what I experienced here. I took this as a lesson because, I mean, we're all content. I've stayed in Anaheim Hills
Right.
forever, basically. Like, this is my bubble.
Yeah.
You know, so we get so comfortable into sticking with our own bubble. We don't really branch out
It's
sometimes.
true. It's
Except
very
like,
true.
well, you went to Africa, you know, so
Yeah.
you're one of the few that goes out of your comfort zone once in a while. I've never done that. So I took a chance. I was like, we'll see what happens. Everything that happened there, and then I came back. You know, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Life has a funny way of teaching you a lesson.
That's for sure.
And that was definitely a lesson that made me grow as a person.
Well, it's
You know,
good.
I look at it as a positive thing right now, because if I wouldn't have done that, I still would have been the same position as I
Same.
am now
wouldn't have
before I
learned,
left.
yeah.
Like before I left, I was content. I was
Yeah.
making good money. I was like, I'm a coach, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But then I came back. I'm like, okay, I got a bunch of shit that I need to do,
Right. You
and I'm
gotta
gonna
get
go
on
ahead
it.
and do it. Like my drive has been just inclining ever since. Like it's funny because I used to complain about not sleeping. Oh, I only got 3 hours, but now I'm like,
You're
okay,
like, I want to stay up.
yeah,
I'm
it's like
working.
it could be worse.
Yeah.
I could still be up there and getting dragged through shit. I'd rather not sleep or sleep for 3 or 4 hours than to be where I was at a year
Yeah.
ago.
For sure.
You know, so I mean, it feels good to be back.
That's amazing.
know,
I
so-
remember before you left, I was talking and I remember saying, like, just it's a learning experience. Like, whatever you do up there, like, at least you can't say you didn't try, you know?
And that's why I did it.
And you got so much more from
Yep.
that than you probably expected. So.
And when I came, a lot of my clients are like, dude, you have some balls just dropping everything here
It
that you
is.
know and going somewhere different. I was like, I might as well try it. It's like skydiving. I was like, fuck it, why not? Like, I think I'm a risk taker, you know, in a sense.
a little
So-
more than you think, I think.
So it's like it taught me a life lesson, and hopefully, in the long run, something more will come of it. You know, so I mean, you never know. You never know what happens.
It's true.
So
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, like you do Cheetah Outreach, and then you do modeling as well. Still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how's that going?
Modeling's good. It's actually been busier. Like I've done that more than anything, I think, in this COVID time.
Really?
So yeah, it was actually really funny. I've always wanted to do acting too. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a chance and do an acting class.
I can see you on Disney Channel.
Well, thanks. That's what I was aiming for. So nailed that one.
Or like Nickelodeon,
Oh
one
my
of
goodness.
those
You
shows.
guys are hilarious. So yeah, so I took an acting class that I think ended like it ended like 2 weeks into COVID. So it went from being really like hands-on to virtual, like everything else. And I just loved it. Like I love anything that challenges me, and it challenges me. And there's so much more than like meets the eye. And so I was like reading books about it and going to my class, and we're doing a lot of things with partner work. And I just was like, I think I really want to pursue this. And not saying I'm going to be a Hollywood like movie star, like that would be cool. But anyway, like, you know, I was like, oh, like, let's see what we got with this. And around that time, I also worked for another company called Ecom Videos, and they're just down the street. So shout out to Ecom, love you guys. But they make like e-commerce ads and different things. Like, so if you go on Instagram and you see those like ads for ponytail hats, or I don't know if you guys see
Oh,
those,
yeah,
or
yeah.
like, you
That's
know,
what they
those
do.
random like, you know, things for your house, whatever. Like companies will send them like, if you guys want to market this mic, you could say, hey, we're going to send you this mic. Here's the script we want. Here's the shots. And they have a whole set like warehouse. And so anyway, so I work with them a couple times a month. I work for a couple different clothing companies. And then this company called Funky Junque, which is like came out of nowhere. I know. But so they're amazing. So the owner of that company mails me products like every month, like just 5-10 products. And Jake, it's perfect because he's a photographer and a videographer. So we shoot in home or on location for this company, which has been really cool. And they're one of the like leading websites on Amazon for like clothing, women's clothing and
Whoa.
things like that. So been doing a lot with that. And then I was in LA last week shooting basically a commercial for them with his son is a really big videographer in LA. He works for Diplo and some other people. So he was there and he was like they're in charge of the shoot and stuff. So anyway, the thing I like about modeling and acting is kind of the very similar to what I like about training and other things is you get to interact with passionate and creative people. And every day is different. Every job is different. And the one thing that does go along with that, like you could probably relate to this. There are some days where you go in to be a trainer and you're like, I just don't feel like doing this today.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
like,
We all
I
have
just,
our off days.
yeah. Or like, I don't know what I'm going to do today. And then there's some days like that with modeling where I'm like, I didn't sleep last night. Like, I feel like crap. I feel bloated or whatever it is. Like, I don't want to do this, but it's always a good time. Modeling's been fun.
What are some of the biggest companies you've worked for?
Oh gosh. I think some of the brands in that e-com company that I've shot for, like my girlfriend the other day sent me a text and she's like, you know, you're on TV. And I was like, wait,
what?
Yeah. And she lives in Texas and there was a commercial and it was something we had shot at e-com for. It was one of like a health product, like a turmeric thing, I've shot so many, I can't, but it's like one of those like a natural vitamin is the word I'm looking for. And so she sent me a screenshot and I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I didn't know that was a commercial. I thought it was just for online marketing, whatever. So that's been really cool. Let's see. I think Mother Trucker, I don't know if you guys know them. So they're a really big, she's actually based out of Belinda, I want to say. But if you look them up on Instagram, they're those women's hats that like have all the
I've
sayings
seen you,
on them.
Yeah,
yeah. So they're pretty big. A lot of kind of big names wear those and have posted about those. I'm trying to think. I've been doing it since I was 16, and I remember when I was 16, I had an agent, and I just wasn't down for it. Yeah.
Well, what made you want to do that?
I don't know. You know, when you're 16 and you're 28, there's a big difference in your thinking. But when
I sure hope so.
Yeah. When I was 16, it was I don't know. Like my parents signed me up for this modeling school. And when I say school, I mean like it was more like a class. It wasn't like I went to a university for it. But after school, I would go to this other class and I would do this. And they teach you runway walk. They teach you posing. They teach you coloring, like what, complimentary things. You get headshots, all this. And then they send all that out to talent agencies. And then if the agencies like you, they call you in for an interview. And so that's what I did. And then I got hired with one. But the problem was I'm a very independent and stubborn person. So I don't like anyone saying, Brittnei, I need you in LA in 2 hours for a shoot or for an audition. And when you're in high school, I remember I had like a boyfriend at the time who was like my world and my everything. And I'll never forget, my agent called me and she's like, okay, I need you up to LA tonight. We've got a shoot. It was a Neutrogena commercial, I think. She's like, we want you to audition. You audition. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. There's a ton of other girls there auditioning. And it was senior night, I remember, and he was captain of the basketball team back then. And I was like, I can't miss his game. Like, I feel so bad. This is a big game. And I remember just straight up being like, I'm not going. Like, I'm not going. And I didn't go. And then the next week, she was like, Brittnei, like, you can't, like, if you want to do this, you have to do this. Like, if you don't, then don't have an agent. And I remember being stubborn and being like, I don't want to. Like, fine. And I know.
What?
And
you fired your agent?
Yeah. I don't necessarily regret it, but it always is something that keeps coming back my way. And so I love it and I appreciate it and I love it for what it is. Well, it would be amazing if my ultimate goal in life would to be the host of like an Animal Planet or a Nat Geo educational like documentary.
Well, you got all three in one. So you got that modeling charisma, and that acting charisma, and then you have your wildlife over here,
Yeah,
and then you
it's just
have that personal
getting it
connection.
to
So it's
bring
like
it all together.
everything is getting it
Yeah.
together.
It's like
at
cooking in the
once.
pot.
Yeah,
I just need the
exactly.
product.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty. Imagine like you're like 40, and you get a little girl. I don't want to go. It's like, you're gonna have to. You're fired. It's like, I just got fired by a 16-year-old high school girl.
You know, I after that night, I was like, I just had an epiphany. I was like, I don't want to do this. And I remember my mom being like, Brittnei, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? And my parents were the type, I always had to be doing something. Like, I could choose what it was, but like, for example, the one thing I couldn't choose, I had to play piano. I played piano since I was 5 till I was 18.
Whoa.
Yeah. But they made me. It wasn't something I wanted to do. It was like, no, you have to do this. And I would dread it. And I would play sports. Like I played basketball. I did ice skating. I did horseback riding. I did softball. I killed it in softball. Like I was MVP, like all-star, because I got a lot of anger in me sometimes. So I had a really good batting average. I can't remember what it was, but I would hit that ball out. But anyway, I always like, I couldn't figure out what I wanted. And what I've realized, my dad was a runner before he had back surgery and everything, LA Marathon. And I would run with my dad, like for fun. To me, it wasn't running. It was just like, I want to hang out with dad. Like my dad and I are super tight. And so I'd go run with him. And then when I got to high school, my dad was like, why don't you like give cross country a shot? And I was like, yeah, I guess I got to do something. And then I just like fell in love with it. And now I still like, I run every day almost. Like it's my thing. Yeah, it's my thing, but it's because of my dad. And it's funny, but it relates back to like, it's not a team sport. I mean, cross country is a team sport. Like you can win meets based on how many points you get as a whole group, but individually you're against yourself. You know, you're beating yourself, your time. And then obviously you want to win, but I love pushing myself. Like I'm very much like, I'm not afraid to say it, like an independent person. Like I can work well in a team when I need to, but I'd rather be on my own. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But so anyway, that's kind of what it happened with the modeling thing. Like I've just been on my own. And my dad at one point, it was funny. He's like, Brittnei, I'll just be your agent. Like you're killing it. Like you got people coming to you and you don't even have an agent. Like make me your agent and I'll market for you. And I was like, Dad, no, like it's okay. You do you, boo. And like
funny.
I'll do me. But
so do you like do your own stuff or like
yeah, I mean, as far as like marketing, and then I don't have someone who like will submit me for things. Like I just through connections, thankfully. You know, that's how I've gotten all the projects or the jobs that I've gotten. It's just connections and growth, just like anything in life. And knowing the right people, 100%. And getting your face out there, which I struggled with for a while because I used to have this weird concept of, especially with social media, I was like, you know, I don't like posting myself because I don't ever want to be perceived as that person that's like bragging themselves or like trying to get that attention.
I totally get that.
You know, it's a fine line. And I, for a while, like I wouldn't for a while. I'd go through these waves. And Jake was like, Brittnei, you have to understand like what you want to do with your life and what you're good at and what God-given talents you have. Like, don't squander what you have. As long as you're doing it from a place of humility and bigger goals and like a business perspective versus like, you know, look at me, like I want likes type thing. You know, your intentions define everything, regardless of what other people think. And he's very right. And so like I've gotten better about it. I try to be tactful, but like a lot of what I have, like social media is a resume, like essentially for people that are
nowadays it is. Yeah.
If you're in the fitness, if you're in the modeling, if you're in the acting, I put reels up. Like I've taught myself like basic Adobe Photo or Adobe Premiere. So like I can edit videos and things. Like Jake is like an all-star at it. He gets paid full time for that. But like I like doing it. Like I like learning. And so, but social media, yeah, I mean, it's a resume. And I, for a long time, tried to like resist it and be like, no, but now it's like, no, like it's a tool.
It's a tool. And that's what I kind of realized too, because I was off for what?
Yeah,
2
you
years?
never like
I never really was. I was on. So Instagram came out in 2010. And so I looked at all these new fitness modeling guys coming out, and I was like, whoa, I want to be like them. I was young and I was just like these kids nowadays. I'd look at what they have. Oh, they drive a nice car. They look great, but I didn't know what they did on the back end and what happens behind closed doors. So like I would always before like I met you or like before like I was at Axioms or No Limit, I just have a photo shoot, take pictures with my shirt off. I thought I was a shit kind of thing. And I got it's funny because I got pretty involved with the fitness industry. I actually know a bunch of, or not a bunch, but like a few people that are very high up in the fitness industry. And I saw what they were doing and I didn't agree with it.
Mm.
And I was like, fuck social media. This is bullshit. So I took it down. And then I came back and I think it was you. You're like, hey, you need to get back
Well,
on.
he wanted to like originally wanted to do the podcast. I was like, dude, you have to get
You
back.
have to
You
have
have to
it.
be on
So-
social media.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
like otherwise we're not
There's
like
no
there's-
platform.
there's no platform
Yeah.
for you to like show the world what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna look it up and be like, oh, I found.
Yeah,
I
like
stumbled up.
Google,
like,
look
I-
at your website.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone stumbles upon things through now
It's true.
Instagram and
Search
Facebook
page,
and
scrolling.
Snapchat.
Now
Yeah.
it's like
and
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I'm
They-
too old
they
for
follow
that.
through that
I'm
stuff.
not kidding. TikTok ain't happening. No, not for me anyway.
So like I took a few years off and I came back and it's kind of what you said too. You have to put yourself out there
Yeah.
as far as making yourself visible
Yeah.
to every eye possible. 'Cause, I mean, you never know with your modeling things. Somebody could be like, wow, okay, I want her to represent this product of ours.
Yeah.
Let me direct message
That's
her, see if
exactly-
she's
A
available.
lot of the things I've gotten, that's how it's happened. Yeah.
Yes.
And then they know someone who knows someone who
Yep,
knows someone.
it's all about connections.
Yeah.
And it's all about how you treat people too. So like for
100%.
me,
Oh, yeah.
the reason why I know a lot of coaches around here in Orange County is because I was nice to everybody. I've never burned a bridge. I've never
Which is rare because the
Did-
fitness industry gets feisty.
it's dark.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realize that.
I've been at the other end of it.
Yeah.
I've gotten the shit end of the stick. But at the same time, I've always treated everybody super nice. I've treated everybody with respect. I've never stepped on any trainer's toes. Like
Except mine. We have so much beef, Alex. Just kidding.
I was like, wait,
your eyes got
wait,
so
what?
big. I'm totally kidding.
You know, like I can name like Pierre at Fanatics,
God.
Sacco at No Limit. You know, we got Daniel, and then a bunch of other gyms. Like I know people almost everywhere in Orange County, you know, so you can't burn your
It's true.
bridges because if you do, one person might know somebody else, one person might know somebody else, and guess what? You can't train at a facility anymore because your name's
nobody
going.
likes you.
Yeah, no one likes you, and your name's going
Your
around.
clients hear crap, and it's
Yep.
like, wait.
It's happened,
Yeah.
and I've heard it from trainers' clients to where they're like, "Hey, this person isn't that great of a person. They do this, this, and this." I know a coach that has burned a lot of his clients, and I don't even know what he's doing now. But I've heard a lot of stories, and a lot of my old clients would tell me, "Yeah, he screwed me over." You know,
So sad.
yeah, it sucks. And then before you know it, you have no job. You can't get hired anywhere because of your resume. You put your references down and they all say the same
Yeah.
thing. This person did this. This person
Yeah.
did this. It's like, well, we can't hire you because we called all of your references.
No one
and-
has anything good to
yeah,
say.
and all you have is negative things going towards you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
That's the one
hard.
thing they don't teach you when you're getting your certification. They do not teach you the business side or the logistics or the human side.
Well,
like,
yeah, I think that's the thing too. They need to switch about certifications.
It's gotta be like a social aspect. to it.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
they send you a book and stuff. It's kind of like they cram anatomy and physiology all in the amount
Right.
of like 6 months, right? But they don't teach you
Like,
how your clients
the
going to react
nature of the
emotionally.
job.
Yeah.
Right.
Your interpersonal connections, the business aspect
Right.
of it, what to do,
Like,
what not to do.
How to, manage your money properly as a self-employed trainer. Like
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah, getting insurance as a
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
They don't
None of that.
they don't teach you any of that, and I think that should be fixed as far as getting your certification. They should try more because I think they do the bare minimum.
100%.
You know, they'll be like, "Hey, sign up for our class course. We're running a special for like $600,
Yeah.
and you get this, and
Yeah.
this." And
It's
then
all
I'm
a
like,
money
"Oh,
thing.
okay, cool."
It's all a
Like
money thing.
you have 400 people paying $600, which is you think is a good deal, but they're just cashing in the flow.
Exactly.
And they just send you a bunch of books that they send to everybody else, and that's basically it. You take a test, you fail, you got to pay like $200
do
or
it again,
$100 to renew it.
Yeah.
Or if you pass, you get your cert and you get a piece of paper, and then you got to get thrown in the
Yeah.
lion's den to see what else happens.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, for me, the younger coaches like who ask me for advice, I just try to do the best possible I can because I've gotten dragged through so much shit through this
Yeah.
industry, and so I use that. I'm like, hey, like, just be the best person you
Find
can.
your niche,
Yeah,
your flow.
learn from
Yeah.
everybody. Like, learn from
Yeah.
every coach you can. Be as smart as you can and continue to grow.
Yeah.
But find your own little niche that makes you you.
Yeah.
And kind of carry that on to your clients. Like with me, when I have a client, I always try to mirror them, you know, or like relate to them
Yeah.
somehow. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
there's been times where I've even gotten fired from clients. I've fired clients.
I've done that a couple times.
So
It's like, this isn't working.
yeah, so a lot of times you're gonna run into problems to where your personalities don't match, and that's okay. It's you just have to be like, okay, well, this isn't working out. Like, I'm really sorry, but here's another coach that I recommend to. I think you would be more of a better fit for them than
Yeah.
with me. You know, and that stuff happens. But as far as like the aspect of the emotional connection, connecting with on the business side, psychological side, they don't really teach you that. You know, I think they should do a better job at that. You know, but I think that's part of life. Like, you have to
Yeah.
learn on your own.
That's
you have
true.
to know
That's very true.
the ins and outs, the dark secrets of the fitness industry, everything that
Should
behind.
do a podcast on that one. It's the topic.
Yeah, you know, like shit happens. Like, you have a bunch of stuff going on. You have the big Instagram guys who do a bunch of drugs and they don't know shit about training. They just, I mean, they look good. They're good looking people, big dudes, but you talk to them and it's like a head full of air.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like, I agree with you on that. And it's frustrating when you're, on Instagram and you see, and I don't want to hate on anyone, but you see people who have no actual knowledge of like the physiology of a body or the form or like the actual reason for choosing this move in a superset with this move, or whatever it is. And it's like, they're killing it. They're making these workouts and they're selling them and whatever. And props to them. Like, they took advantage of something and they're running with it. But it's like, as a trainer, sometimes it's like, oh man, like, this is frustrating. Like,
because we know
Right.
as a coach what is right and what is
Right.
wrong. To each their own though. I mean, if they want to do it, go ahead. But if you're looking to get into that, there's always a new fad. There's always someone that's gonna look better.
that's I think what I'm trying to get at.
There's always someone to be better.
Yeah.
Like, someone's gonna have a new $20 workout that you can buy. That's more of a
a
catch.
magic pill
Yeah,
to lose
like
20 pounds.
something like that along those lines.
Sarah's discovery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got an email. It's funny you say that because I got an email where it said lose 50 pounds in 61 days.
You posted it, didn't you?
Try
I
this
saw
pill.
that.
And I looked at it. I was like, they're still posting shit about this. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, that shit doesn't work.
I feel bad for the people that actually do it though.
Well, they
like-
don't. So the thing is they don't know. So that's what I was trying to get with the whole sweet sweat thing. It's like, you look at a product, you look at the people putting out the product, and you're like, oh, that might work for me. You don't know though. Like, you don't actually know. Like, in order to lose weight, you have to be at a caloric deficit.
Exactly.
Everybody's at a number, and you have to find what your number is. And then a caloric deficit, you want to be below your calories
Right.
an X amount or whatever.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it is. But people want to find the easy way
Right.
out, and they're like, hey, this might work for me. And I feel bad because they don't know anybody. That's what the media brings out. They're like, buy our product, it's gonna work. So it's like, oh shit.
That's what I mean. That's what's frustrating. It's like
it might work. And I'm like, no. Come over here.
Yeah. Like, no. Don't be enticed. Like,
yeah,
this is the realness
yeah,
here.
like, come over here. Let me show you the right way. Freezing fat off. Like, that's a huge thing now. Like, when you freeze fat off. Like, what in the
what does
fuck?
that mean? Like,
Yeah.
where does it go?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it freeze?
Free-
Like, do you just fat lob fall off, or is it like just freeze into your body? Like,
I don't get that.
it.
Yeah, like, the freeze fat shit pisses me off.
They put it in a freezer. Is that where they store
like,
it?
I don't
what
fucking
is
know. I don't.
freeze your fat? Okay, then what?
I heard
like,
about this.
Where does it go from
Yeah,
there?
like what?
I don't. Because people are like, well, I'm getting my
Fat frozen?
fat freezed off, and I'm like, wait, that's something new. How the fuck does that work? And basically, I don't know. They basically freeze the fat off, but it's different to where if you have like a huge client, right? That's 300 pounds,
Here we go.
and they lose weight, right? They're gonna have an excess skin.
Right.
So they need a tummy tuck.
Right, that's different.
It's different. But when people go the other avenue and they're like, oh, I'm going to get a tummy tuck before I work out, maybe this will work. A lot of times their skin's going to stretch back out and they'll go back to the original weight that they're at because they don't follow any diet plan. They're like, oh, I'm just going to get surgery on this.
Right,
well,
it'll fix it. And then
let's
then
find your
what?
base. Let's see how well you're eating. Let's see how many times you're
Right.
exercising. Let's see your exercise
Right.
regimen. Like, do you have a coach? Like,
Right.
what are you doing? If you're not doing anything and you're just going into surgery point blank, you're not going to get shit
Yeah,
done.
that's the easy way.
You know?
It's skipping, like, and I have a lot of clients too that they don't eat enough. Like, I have a lot of
Yeah.
clients that are like, I'm not eating. Like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. And I'm like, do you understand your body is an engine? Like, it needs fuel in order to burn what you're trying to
Yep.
burn. Like, carbs are not the enemy, contrary to belief. Like, that is actually what allows you to lose weight
Yeah.
when done correctly. So, like, you know, and I've seen it firsthand, you know, oh, I'm eating 1,100 calories. Why am I not losing weight? No, I'm
Holy
serious. And
fuck,
I'm like,
that's so low.
1,100 calories? Are you hungry? Like, can I get you something? Like, you know,
Dude,
no
that's
disrespect.
in my like first meal.
Yeah, same here. And I'll have clients ask me, you know, like, what do you eat? Like, and I'm like, I'm eating a ton. Like,
How do they not pass
I eat a
out?
ton
I'd fucking.
We had so many people that passed out at LA Fitness.
just
Like,
from not eating.
Oh,
and
oh
working
they
out.
would they'd be like, they're like old people, young people. They come in, they'd lift weights, they'd go really hard, and they pass out. And we'd be like, "What happened to you guys? Are you guys okay?" And they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I don't know. I just don't feel good." Did you eat anything today? No. What'd you have last night for dinner? I skipped it.
you
What'd
know,
you have
We're
yesterday?
fasting.
And you're like, we're just doing fasting. And I was like,
see,
I don't
so
understand.
fasting's cool. So my take on fasting
When
is
it's done right.
It's you have to do it right. So a lot of people fast. I have no negative thing. Tongue twister. I have no negative things to say about fasting, but as long as you get your calories in, that's all that matters.
Right.
It's everything's science based. So as long as
It's
you
true.
meet your calories,
You
you're
could eat
fine.
1,000-calorie pizza in a day. Not saying that's the healthiest choice. Or you could eat that 1,000 calories spread out or whatever it
Right.
is. Yeah.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And
Not
I mean
advocating for
that's
that,
fine
but-
because a lot of my clients fast, but they still get their calories
Right.
in. I'm like, okay, cool. Do whatever it is you got to do. But if you're fasting and not eating enough, like if you're fasting and having a salad,
Yeah.
that's probably not the way to go.
Yeah.
Your body's going to turn on you and you're not going to get shit done.
It's
You're going to
true.
be even more tired. Your energy levels are going to be low.
You're going to be grumpy.
You're going to be grumpy.
Yeah.
You're going to be like taking naps during the day because your energy levels are so low. You can't really do much during the day. You can't function at work. Your brain levels can't even function.
Exactly.
You know,
Sugar,
you need
everything.
Yeah, you need to be like, you need to eat carbs. You need to eat fats. You need to eat fruits,
Right.
vegetables, everything that's
Healthy. Yeah.
that's nutrient
dense.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly
Yeah.
right. And that's what people kind of misinterpret or
Yeah.
get confused.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not their fault because they see these things on commercials and they're like,
That's
hey,
what's so frustrating.
yeah, you know, and it sucks. I'm like, no, like,
It's
what?
not that complicated. It's really like that. I'm not saying that to the people, but the things you see on TV, like, we don't like, there is one way that efficiently works every time, all the time. You just have to choose to do it. And that's exactly the way we've been talking about, just the calorie deficit and being wise and eating holistically nutrient dense foods, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to take a pill. You don't have to not eat carbs for a week. Like, you don't have, and if that's your thing, cool. But like, there is, like, I feel like there's so many things in Pandora's box of how to lose weight. And it's like, but there's really, like, there's just, if you focus on doing this correctly, like, it really does work.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not even that. It's that. Sorry. But it's
You're wrong. No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
And it's about keeping your body healthy in the
Right.
long run as
Right.
well.
Mhm.
You know, you don't need to cut 1,000 calories in a month. Like, you need to slowly
Yeah.
decrease your calories, and your body will adjust. Your body will adjust. You'll go through spikes.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it with my clients. You'll go through a spike and then you'll decrease. You'll go through another spike, then you'll go through a plateau, and then you'll go through a decrease and spike. It's all over the place. But if you measure the amount of 6 months and you're like, okay, I started here. Yes, I'm spiking in between these months, but let's see from month 1 to month 6. Guarantee you'll be like, oh, it's a downward spiral. It's funny because I just texted him. I had a client, his name's Samuel Zeitland. I trained him up north in San Francisco,
Mhm.
and I trained him online. I don't take a lot of online clients, and
Yeah.
I don't like doing that because
I
it takes
wouldn't.
it. Well, I
I
mean,
thought I offered it as a service, and I was like, I don't know that I can do this.
I mean, it
efficiently.
depends. So for me, I feel everybody has their own route, right? And to each their own. But for me, I like talking to people.
Yeah.
I like training people one on
Yeah.
one. I'm just really old school as
Yeah.
far as that. So if I have somebody online, I've already trained them. They already know what a move is
Right.
and how to do it and
Yeah.
how their form should
Right.
be. And they already know what the exercise is and how to perform it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So he started out in January at 193, and yesterday he texted me. He's at like 160 now.
Wow.
So it's like, it's insane.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's insane to see that. And he's like, well, my body went through spikes, and then, but he's like, I looked overall. He's like, I didn't even know I was skinny because you look at yourself in the mirror every day.
Yeah. So it's that gradual change.
Yeah, it's that gradual change, and you won't notice it at first, but you have to give yourself a couple months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And then you go like, hey, I started at 193. Now I'm down to 160. Oh, shit.
When did that happen? Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like I can tell a complete difference because I look so much better.
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I'm so much more mobile. Like I can move my body.
That's
like,
key. Yeah.
you know, and there's no magic pill for that.
Yeah.
You have to have hard work.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
I agree.
all the
People want everything too fast. It's like
it's all the fluff shit. Yeah, exactly. People want it too fast. Everybody wants it now and wants it to happen now. But as far as exercise, it happens in years.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Jack about it, and it takes years for you to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And even then you go on to another goal.
right.
You know, so it's like your
Right.
goals
you progress
change too.
within that year. Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly. So it's like, I don't know, with this fluff shit, it kind of like, it aggravates me. There's a few people that I follow, you know, that are in Instagram models, but what they stand for is for a good cause. Like they do give good information. So I'll follow them too, but everybody else,
Yeah.
it kind of, it's kind of sad.
It's a big fish world out there. There's a lot of them in the ocean.
Yeah.
So
You know, and so that's what I'm hoping to change, is to have people, or let people know, like, yo, you got to work hard at this.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not an easy thing. It's probably the hardest avenue you can do because you're changing your body. You're going from one thing to another. For me, everyone's like, how many years have you been working out? I've been working out since I was like 21, and I'm 28 now.
really
7 years. You know, it took me 7 years to
See?
get where I was at. But even still, I'm like, okay, I have more goals. I want to pull more weight, or I want to lose like maybe 2 more pounds, or I want to gain 5
Right.
more pounds. I want to get stronger. You know, I want to maintain. There's so many avenues I could do, but your goals always change. It took me 7 years to get to where I was at.
That's crazy.
You know, and people don't get that.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong thing, and it should never go untreated.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing too. People don't take care of themselves, especially during COVID. A lot of people fell off the
So bad.
wagon.
Yeah.
You know, some people gained weight. Some people, we actually got better. You know,
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, like my Brittfit live workouts have really helped.
Yeah.
me.
How's that going?
It's good. It's going really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. But they've helped me as much as I feel like I would like to think I've helped people. I had one of my girls, she's lost 10 pounds in three months. Yeah. So that's a healthy
Wow.
amount of weight to
Holy
lose
shit.
every
Dang.
month.
Yeah.
So she's like on cloud 9, and that makes me on cloud 9 as a
Right.
trainer. And yeah, it's been steadily every month we get, I don't know who we are. Oh, I say we because like I like to say it's the Brittfit family, like all the members.
community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We've gotten at least 2 to 3 members new every month. So it's if that keeps going for a few months, that's a good thing.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. So I mean, I started Brittfit live I did it free, like no payment, no charge for I think like the first month and a half
Before
of COVID.
this, you just had Brittfit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just Brittfit. And that was, so when I left Axioms, I took Brittfit and spotted a gym in Orange and trained clients there. And that was because at that time I was adjunct at Vanguard. So I wasn't making enough to like completely give up training. And then now that COVID's happened, like it opened up this door for people need workouts. And I had clients that were like going to train with me over the summer in between teaching. And that, you know, kind of got a riff put in it for a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I feel really bad. There's so many people that if this is damaging me mentally, I think I'm pretty strong mentally. So if this is hard for me, it's got to be that much harder for, you know,
Everybody
people
else.
who aren't. No disrespect to that. But So I was like, I need to do something to try to help people right now. And so I just started saying, hey guys, I'm going to do a workout tomorrow. Like if you want to jump in, jump in. And then next thing I know, I had like 27, 28 people like doing it with me. And I was like, I feel kind of weird making people pay for this during this time. But I was also like, but this is also something, this is an opportunity. And if I do it respectfully and humbly, and I was like, okay, easy. $4 a workout. That's it. $48 a month. You get 12 workouts a month with a personal trainer doing it with you. They're about 40 minutes each. Like you're
That's
gonna,
fair.
it's more than fair. If I have to say, but so for me, it's been so fun, and I love it, and it's accessible as long as you have an Instagram, which is great. You could do it anywhere in the world at any time you want, because I leave them. I say 24 hours, but I leave them up honestly for like usually 2 days at a time. So people can do them before work, after work, on their lunch break. I don't know if you're a night owl, do it late, whatever you want. So it's been really fun. And I that's something I'll keep doing this as long as there's a demand for it,
Right.
because
Well,
it's a way to stay connected too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody, I think, stays connected as a community because of one person slacking.
Yeah.
Like, hey, where were you today? You usually
Yeah,
on your classes.
exactly.
Like, where were you at?
I've
They're like,
messaged a few
"Oh,
people. I'm like, I
shit."
didn't see you come in today. Where
You're
were
like,
you?
Well, yeah, where were you on the screen? It's like, you can't really hide, So, I mean, that's pretty cool. You're
Yeah.
building your own little
It's cool.
community.
Yeah, I like to think of it that way.
And your community and clients become family, and you guys
100%.
become closer. And that's why I love this
That's
job.
the best part of this job
A
for me.
good percentage of my clients have become my friends.
No, yeah.
Like we go out. So my buddy Richard, his name's Richard Kwok. What's up, Richard?
Do I know him?
No.
No,
So
okay.
I used to train him at No Limit.
Okay.
Just jacked Asian dude. Such good shape. He's a cyclist too.
Oh, that'll help.
And so I used to train him, and we got close. And now we go to lunch once a month.
That's so cool.
I'll go out to Irvine, and he'll come out to here. We'll have lunch, catch up. We'll talk for about 2 or 3 hours, and that's basically it. But that's why I love this job,
Yeah.
because you build a connection to the person that you're training. You're going through the process with them, and it's an
Exactly.
emotional roller
Yeah.
coaster. And you guys,
And you see days when they're hurt, days when they're sick,
Yeah,
days
you
when they're
go
happy,
through
like
shit with
they
them.
lose their job or their families and fighting, whatever it is. Like you are literally there with them.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're you're
Mhm.
there.
It's
You're
cool.
there to help
It's
them,
cool.
and they see that, and you guys become close. And before you know it, you're friends.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't even register them as clients
Yeah.
anymore. They're not my clients. They're my
That's
family.
the
They're
exact same
friends.
for me. Yeah.
And it's pretty cool about this job because you can't really get that anywhere else.
I don't
Like,
think there's any other job.
the 9 to 5 job, I didn't. I just
I
had
didn't
coworkers.
either.
Those were barely colleagues.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they were cool, nice people that I worked with, but at the same
But
time,
it was never
it was never to the extent
that
of
deep level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you never had a deeper emotional connection.
Then hi, how are you?
Yeah,
On your
exactly.
lunch break. Okay, bye.
Yeah. It's like, how's your lunch? What are you
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
today?
yeah.
A sandwich? Oh, that looks good. All right, I'll catch you later. Like, what the fuck?
That's literally it.
It's but I love this job. I don't ever see myself stop.
Yeah.
It's
It's addicting.
Yeah, it is.
There was a whole table at my wedding that was just clients, like just that our family now. Like that's how close they are to me. Like they're like Ami. I call her Mommy Ami.
miss her.
She is the best. Christy, and Dave and Shauna and Anne, Daniel's Aunt Anne and her like Raylyn and
Anne's dope too.
she's
I
the
love her.
best. Like there's so, and that was the hardest part of me leaving Axioms, because at that point in my life, I was like, I'm never gonna do training again. Like I always wanted to incorporate it, but I don't know what it's gonna happen. And then it's so cool to fast forward. It's literally a year, I think, next month that I
Yep.
left, and I'm still doing it. I'm doing it better than I ever was, and like these people are still in my life, which is really cool.
Those are the
as a trainer.
Yeah, those are the people that are gonna want you to do better in life
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Because
That's the
my
difference.
clients, they're not my clients, they're my family, but they're
Right.
always
They root for you.
they're
Yeah.
on your side. They're on
Exactly.
your team. They're
Yeah.
rooting for you. They want you to
Yeah.
do better in life. They
They
want you
know
to
more.
excel.
Some of my clients know more about me than honestly some of my immediate family. Like because not any disrespect to that, but just because it's a whole nother level like of a relationship you create
Yeah.
with clients, and
Yep.
like you become so close. And like you said, I think that there's no other job like, and that for me is why like I don't ever want to stop having training in my life, like in some form or another.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, exactly. So like you nailed it. Like they've been with you when you're a coach. You live at the gym. Live at Axioms, so I'm never home. Like, yeah, I see my grandparents and they raised me,
Right.
and I love them. They're
Right,
family,
right.
but
Of
at the same
course.
time, you're right.
It's
Your
just
clients
different.
know way more about your
Yeah.
life than your family, and it's like you said, it's not like a bad thing in a way, but it's just
No,
it's just how it is.
it's a
You
relationship.
go through different things in
Right.
your lifetime with them.
Right.
The ups, the downs, the roller coaster rides, the
divorces. I've
Yeah.
had so many clients go through that. And
breakups,
it's
divorces.
Yeah, like it's crazy. And what I love is like, and I've had clients tell me this, like, Brittnei, I can talk to you like I can't talk to anyone else the way I talk to you because you are separate, like, from my family and my friend group. And you are like your own entity in my world, like, meaning like, I can trust you. Like,
you're the oracle.
you're your own little
You're the oracle.
black hole here.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's cool. And I love that. Like, I'm a people person like you. And so that feeds me. Like,
Yep.
I love that. And I love being able to give back to them in that way. Like, training is so physical, but it's so much more mental, in my opinion, than anything. And, fitness involves more than just lifting weights at the gym. It's about your perspective in life and your approach to each day and the relationships you have with other people. That all influences, at least me, how I perform in a workout.
Yeah.
Like, and it can vary day to day.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
And
all of it.
That's what makes you a great coach. Not only like you can be the smartest person in the room, you could be the smartest person in the world, but what comes down to it is how you are with people.
Mhm.
If you're smart and you know everything, but if you can't put that into a thing to where you get along with people,
Right.
you're not going to be a
personability.
good coach.
Yeah.
You can be like, I was a shitty trainer. I dropped out of college, I dropped out of college and I didn't know much, but I grew and I learned. And the only thing that got me to where I am now is my personality and me being good with people and talking to people and just being very helpful and humble and just trying to do the best that I can to help everybody out. Because I always try to put people first and then me last.
Mhm.
That's how I've always been. Like if I have a client, take care of them first.
Mhm.
They're your
Their
priority.
needs, yeah.
And that's what separates coaches. You have to connect with that person in
Yeah.
front of you. You can't just be on your phone for a fucking hour
Right.
and just tell them to do like
Right.
1,000 burpees.
Right.
Like
Or I'll be right back. Like,
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
that set. It's
yeah,
like, what?
yeah. It's like I'm on my phone dicking around on Instagram. You have to connect with them emotionally, and a lot of times you're gonna go through a lot of shit with them. But in the end, I think it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I love my job.
Yeah.
Like, I would not trade it.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the thing. It's like you can make $1 million and not be happy, or you can settle for less and just be happy with where you're at and
keep
excel
moving. Yeah.
year
That's
after
all you
year.
gotta
Just
do.
get better and
Mhm.
get better and get better. And that's it. Like with you, you're Brittfit, you're small increments,
Yeah,
excelling,
it's
growing,
a learning lesson for sure.
And
Mhm.
before you know it, fast forward a year,
That's
who
the
knows how?
plan.
Yeah, who knows how
That's the
big you'll be?
plan.
So
Yeah.
it's cool to see people grow. It's cool to see other coaches grow, especially because I'm friends with other coaches and I can ask them questions and like personal advice. Like
Yeah.
me and Sako are.
I love Sako.
Yeah, he's dope. Shout out to
Sako,
Sako.
you the best.
Like anytime I have something personal, like whether it's business related or coaching related, I'll always call him.
Because he operates from that same, I think, level that you do and that I do, at least as far as I've seen from the, just that good heart, like that good heart position. And there's obviously that business side to it. You gotta have, but he's just a good guy. Like, he's very simple. And
usually those businesses, if you're a good person and you operate the right way and you just be nice to everybody and
you'll succeed.
You don't try to rip people off or anything.
You don't get dramatic about crazy things.
Yeah, it's like that's what makes your business great and that's what will make you great. And those businesses stick out more than others. Because you can open up a facility, throw $1 million, but if you're not
invested,
if you're not emotionally invested in your clientele, you're not going to do well because it's just going to be a revolving door. They're just going to
Exactly.
keep coming in, coming out, coming
no
in, coming out.
consistency.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no consistency. It's like the big gyms, like
It's so
LA
true.
Fitness or 24. It's like the only people that make it is the trainers. And even like for me, I brought some of my clients from LA Fitness to No Limit because they're like, well, the only reason I'm training with you is because you're you.
Right.
So if
It's-
you're leaving this
yeah,
place,
it's
like
not
I'm
about the gym.
yeah,
It's the trainer.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
If you're leaving this place, then I'm going with you.
Yeah.
And that's what some people misincorporate.
Yeah.
Like,
I get
you know,
that.
they're like, hey, like, what? I was like, well, yeah, honestly, we got along. It's not like you and my client are
Right.
friends. Like the only reason why they're training here is because of me.
This service I am providing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The trainers make the gym, and that's
That's
basically what it is.
100% the
That's the
truth.
core.
Yeah.
Is good coaching. You know, so I mean, like I said, I love my job, and I will never change anything about it.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just keep excelling.
No, I won't.
You're killing it.
You know, so I mean, we'll see what happens in the future.
I'm excited. I'm excited for all of us.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What about Brittfit? Like, what's your plan?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, I want to get that sweat to protect component back in it. So I really would like to start involving more conservation work with it. So whether that's a percentage of everyone's monthly membership goes to an organization, or I save it for a greater project in the future for conservation, whatever it is. I really want to get that going. I'll be honest. I will always, as long as there's a demand for this online group training, I will do that. And I do have a couple in-home one-on-one clients right now. But because I'm so busy with Vanguard full-time there and teaching, which is in the direct field that I want to be in, I have to keep it limited. But it's cool because it's allowed me the perspective now. Training, it's always been something I've loved. Before I had to do it because I had to make that paycheck. Now it's something I love, and it's just a blessing in my life as far as I get to choose who I work with.
Right.
I have to be more picky with my hours just because I'm doing this other job too. So Brittfit, it's going to be something that I always want to have, like you said, those family clients, those clients that are family. I always want to, honestly, the reason I'm doing it is to continue helping them and engaging with them. And it's cool because it's also brought in more family. Like, you know, we're just
Your
growing.
family just keeps expanding. Yep.
So I am always willing and able to keep this online 3 times a week thing. That will always be a center of Brittfit. Anything outside of that, you know, would be cool. But I'm not like putting too much focus on that right now, at least. I want to focus on getting my PhD eventually and doing, and just pursuing that conservation, community engagement, the on camera work, the speaking. You know, that's where I want to go, but I want to always have Brittfit. Like Brittfit is like my roots. Like these people are like my foundation.
Yeah, like
so
I
I want to
said,
bring them wherever I go, you
They're
know?
rooting for you.
Yeah.
They want you to do better in life.
Yeah.
You know, their family.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, like I said, I keep coming back to it. That's why I love my job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to switch. I'm not going to go to anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
so excited.
I know. Well,
Good
hey,
stuff for us.
thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks
Greatly
for having
appreciate
me.
Thank you.
Anytime. I'd love to come back and we could do like, you guys should do those fire questions. Have you seen those on YouTube? Like favorite
No.
color, favorite food, favorite song.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Wait, what?
Sun or rain. Like, yeah. And you have
Really?
like 5 seconds, like enchilada or taco. Like random things. Yeah.
You've never seen that?
No,
It's funny.
dude.
And
Yeah,
you
I
get
don't-
to
it's
just
pretty
like,
great, yeah.
like jacket or hoodie. Like just random, or dog, cat. Yeah. And you can learn a lot about someone
yeah.
really quick.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. We'll
So
have a fire round.
You
next
could do
time.
that like your first intro with people when they come in. Like
Oh, that's a
take
cool
5
idea.
minutes and fire each other. That'll be
Okay,
funny.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down. You gave us an idea. That's a
Yeah,
good
give us an idea.
Woo! See, we're excelling.
You heard it here first. Brittfit gave us the idea.
Hey.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Greatly
Thank you
appreciate it.
guys. Of
Thank
Good
course.
you.
luck with everything.
Thank you.
And Jake, what's up, man? Go skydiving with your wife.
Yes, we're gonna make that happen.
All right.
I
Later,
hope.
everybody.
Bye.